So the customer has a bracelet they already have in Tanzanite, and they wanted to make an anniversary ring for their significant other in the same color and shade of Tanzanite, and I was so insanely lucky to find this shade and color of Tanzanite. It took literally like 2 days to find it. That like wasn't like thousands of dollars. We got it, it's perfect and it's beautiful, and I'm so excited to work with it. So I will pretty much be recreating the masculine version of these two rings with this purple Tanzanite, and I'll be taking you guys along with me. So this is my wire wrapping basket. Has a bunch of crap. One thing is my Shrek bag. This is my prized possession. So right now I'm looking at my spools of wire and seeing which ones I have to do this design. I checked before I ordered the stone to make sure I had all of the wire I needed. And I do. It's just a matter of me getting it out. You know, I haven't done wire wrapping in such a long time, and I honestly have never been happier not doing it. Wire wrapping for me mainly had turned into a obsessive form of art where I had to get it perfect. I had to look like a genuine real ring that, like, if I saw someone on the street and they're like, oh my gosh, I love your jewelry, and you like showed them, they wouldn't even realize it was wire wrapped unless they like really looked at it and they're like, oh my gosh, wait, that's wire wrapped. And I feel like I did that pretty well. Like, it's never been a point where I've been like, oh my gosh, my stuff looks horrible, I hate it all, blah, blah, blah. It just kind of turned into a situation where I became so obsessed with it that eventually I lost the passion for it, which I'm realizing is a pattern, because that's what happened with painting. I used to love painting, but it got to a point where it had to be so realistic that I ended up hating it, and now I don't paint anymore. I dread painting. I get to a point where it has to look so real that it's like really unhealthy. And then I hate what I do, and then I stop doing it because I hate it. So that's kind of what happened with wire wrapping. And it's not like a situation where I don't have the confidence in doing it. It's more so the stress of it, because I have the confidence in myself that I know I can make stuff that's like really good quality. But it's just the fact of like, what if someone doesn't like it, or it got wedged between their car door and it broke in half or something, which I'm sure would happen with real jewelry, but it's the thought of, well, crap. What if it happens with my jewelry? But I don't know. I need to stop having such an unhealthy obsession with it, because it's really deteriorating my joy for my creations. I really strive off of other people's recognition of it and their approval. I know I shouldn't, but I do. And, you know, it's better to know where I'm at than to lie to myself. So at least I'm on that part of it. I don't want to hate wire wrapping, and I don't want to push it to the limits like how I did with painting, because with painting I painted once in the last year and I hated doing it. Absolutely hated it. I dreaded coming home having to work on it. It's awful. I really don't want to overextend myself when it comes to wire wrapping, because I know how it happened with me with painting. I overextended myself and I pushed myself to the limit. I pushed myself to the mental limit that it had to be perfect, and I now hate painting. I think later down the road, I probably would get to the point where I would want to do it again, but for now, it's kind of just, I still despise it. With wire wrapping, I'm glad I'm turning away from it and moving on to wax carving, but for now, I kind of am a little over it. But that's okay, because this ring is gonna be a lot of fun, and I'm really excited to see how it turns out. And, you know, if worst comes to worst and my buyer ends up breaking up with the person they're with and they're not getting the ring anymore, then I have a new ring I can wear, which is kind of dope. So either way, it doesn't work out for them, it works out for me. If it doesn't work out for me, it works out for them. So yeah. I don't think this is going to be a very in-depth tutorial. I have a lot of tutorials on my TikTok and Instagram out of how I've made this style ring, so I'm probably not going to be doing anything about the band, but I will probably show some of me conforming the wire to the stone. It's getting late. I'm losing steam. Getting tired. But we've gotten pretty far along. I'm gonna try and zoom in the camera. This is where we're at. See how funky this looks? Look. It's a It's exactly where we need it at 10.5. Yes, again, 10.5, and it fits perfect. I have the Tanzanite. Oh, Tanzanite has been dropped. Oh. Can't believe it, don't have a jacuzzi. So one thing I like to do when I am setting stones with wire wrapping, so I don't like to squeeze the wire with my pliers because, especially around the stone, because I am not a very delicate person, I'm very rough. So when I try to do that, I have broken stones doing that before, and that's like a big no-no, especially when it's a custom piece based on the stone. So what I like to do is I use the rubber end of my plier and kind of push the stone in a little bit, push it into the setting if it starts to pop out, because with wire wrapping, you know, sometimes it will start to pop out as you're forming the wire around it. Another tip I like to do is use nylon tip pliers, because then when you're squeezing the wire around your stone, it usually doesn't end up leaving scratches, and then you don't have to worry about scratching the stone, and you don't have to apply so much pressure, and when you do, there's a cushion for it. It's not like you're just crushing your stone in between metal. See, like what I just did just then? What just happened was I squeezed the wire, I squeezed it around the stone, and it kind of popped it out, so I used the end, and I just joink, push it back in. You know, and then you can think of those sound effects every time you do it too. I would actually prefer that. I'm gonna continue trying to set this stone because this is a delicate job, and I need as much focus as I can get, and you guys are just so good looking, it's distracting me, so I gotta get back to it. Kind of loving this. That is a gnarly ring. Nice.